I don't get this, I really don't get this. Thank you very much for the $2.69. You can see some love in the chat for McFizzle. He has become the Bit Boss. What a god. What a god. Alright guys, let's continue on then. Let's go into the game and introduce our players to the upper right hand side of the map. It's going to be the Blue Protoss player for Dead Pixels. It's Fear. Bottom left, our red Zerg player is Zanster. Alright, let's go into this and see what's going to happen. McFizzle, did you mean to donate twice? Thank you for the second $2.69. Says, once again, paying the cost to be the boss, you heard me. With an exclamation mark this time. Shout out to WardiTV, 7 years of hard time in the pen for theft and soliciting sex to prostitute. Love you, big dog. I might have done it twice. Well, thank you for the $5. If you didn't mean to do it twice and you would like one of the donations back, I can refund it to you. If it's a mistake, I can refund it to you, dude. I don't want to take twice the money if you didn't want it to be done twice. But thank you nonetheless, as we set this up and see the Cyber Core is just on the way, coming up at the front here. Nexus on the natural, finishing up as well. And yeah, setting up into this, seeing what's going to happen and seeing how this is going to go over the next couple of moments. On the other side of the map from Zanster Hatch Gas Pool, I mean, it's Proxima PvZ. Nice passive play, most likely. Let's see if we see some carriers, some Skytoss coming into play throughout this. As we set up into this and see, just again, see how it goes, see what's going to happen. Well, gate starts up, Adept is on the way, and believe it or not, that Adept is not going to be able to target down the Overlord, no matter how hard he rallies the gateway onto it. So that Overlord going to come in towards the upper side. I'm going to move in towards the north, and just going to be seeing the Stargate coming down, putting down the that in the main base, and getting set to go. Third hatch comes down from Zanster on the low ground in the meantime, and of course we just wait to see how this develops. Loser's match here. Loser goes home. Well, logs off. Loser logs off, never to return to StarCraft 2 again. They go home, which is yeah, I don't know. I've got no idea. But yeah, loser is knocked out of the tournament. The winner goes on to play Keller Zur in the decider match here today. Is that Stargate about to finish up? I mean, very standard play from Fear. I mean, to be fair, we actually haven't seen that. We haven't actually seen much Stargate play today, honestly, throughout the day. So it's nice to see a bit of Stargate in the PvZ. We've seen some Stargates. I think Showtime used it quite a bit earlier in his PvZs, but not as much as you might expect. There's been, again, a lot more Robo-based openings, Robo-Twilights, some just straight-up Twilights for Resonating Glaive expands. We've seen a good mixture of things today. We really have. Oracle is about to pop, and a Phoenix is on the way behind us as well. If not for anything else, just a single Phoenix to try and you know, chase down an Overlord or something here. As you do see a Zergling again moving around, just looking to see what's up and looking to see what's happening. Thank you, Adzi, for the cheer 1 in the chat, by the way. These cheer 1s, man. These cheer 1s. Oracle comes in, 1 kill, 2 kill, cheater runs popped, and we are going to be seeing the Oracle does back away then to the right side, and just going to be seeing the Queen targeting the Oracle. So Oracle actually takes quite a quite a lot of damage. Oh man, the memes are coming in from everywhere at the moment. It's incredible. As we do see the Oracle moving across. And yeah, Resonating Glaive's on the way up, about halfway done, and I'm just going to see the Adept coming through and picking off a Zergling down on the low ground as well. So it's going to be seeing the probe coming through, and well, in the meantime, you see +1 melee upgrade from Zanster, a few Banes as well. Going to look to see what's up. Zerglin's going to be moving around as well, and running on in. Adepts just shade away. A little bit of pressure then. Just the glaives kind of follow up, just to do a little bit of damage, try and see what they can get up to. 9 more drones in production. +1 melee is on the way up on the evolution chamber as well. Just setting up onto all of this quite nicely. Again, these adepts gathering up together for fear, just outside of the third base. Again, the Oracle doing a nice little bit of damage here and there. Just looking to see what he can get up to. And again, another 12 Zerglings on the way out. More adepts going to shade into the center. Continued pressure from Fear, and well, I mean, if you can split away from the Banelings well enough, this could be pretty deadly, because Zanster is actually in a bit of a tough spot. What happened to Zanster? Are we being too distracted? Fear hasn't lost anything yet this game. Don't make the Oracle the first thing he loses. That would be truly dreadful. And again, he's going to start pre-splitting these adepts, and here we go. The Banes, will they get enough done? The Zerglings, you know, if nothing else, the Zerglings are going to be able to get a good surround because the Banes are forcing the split, but Fear seems to have quite a lot. We're going to see the Queens at the front. First one drops already. We're going to see more and more drones being picked off here as well. Another set of Banes finishes morphing, but already Adepts in the main, and Zanster is taking heavy amounts of damage. The Adepts on the low ground also still around, and these Banes, I don't know if they're going to be able to ever catch up with these Adepts, because they just seem to be going everywhere all the time. They do shade into the mineral line over here, and now he splits up again to minimize the damage. And it looks pretty deadly, but the reality is Adepts are still around. On the low ground, they're still targeting down drone after drone as well. And Sphere will take a pretty significant lead from this. A 15-worker lead. A 15-worker lead. And there's going to be seen 4 more gates of Temple Archives coming down. Charge and a Prism. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw just a very aggressive follow-up attack in the near future from Fear, just to try and end this game out nice and quick after taking such a lead. Might be difficult, though. As we do see the Lings coming back up in towards the third in the next couple of moments. A couple of gates going to try and come down. Overcharge will have to be used. Force fields will do for now, but that was a little bit scary for just a moment there. And he will just now put the pylons down, I guess. Just wants to make sure there's the wall. He might just cancel these and build the gates as he wanted to originally. Would be a little bit of a safer wall, but I mean, for now it gets the job done. I mean, what's the chance of being Bane busted in that position later in this game? Probably not too high, actually, because in reality, this is not a, you know, if a Protoss is going to be taking the fight, the Zerg's going to be taking the fight, we're probably going to be seeing the you know, the army pushing in from this sort of direction in towards those pylons. But the army of the pros should be out here, you know, so don't think that's actually going to be too major of an issue. We'll see, but I don't think it's going to be one of those things that really comes into play too heavily. 4th Nexus drops down, pylon as well as we set up into this, and in the meantime, this Overseer just still being chased around by the Phoenix. We've seen the Prism go into the left side as well, and another Phoenix up top. I actually didn't realize he made a couple of Phoenix, but obviously he did. You learn something new every well, I guess not every day quite, but you learn something new every minute of the game. There's going to be seeing this War Prism coming in towards the upper left-hand side. Still a few units gathering over to the right as well. Another Archon currently morphing in for Fear. And there's going to be seeing the Nexuses continue to come up as well. So Nexus coming up here, also setting up into this and seeing how we continue on. Again, Fear, I guess. I mean, I mean, he could have probably tried to be aggressive, but it probably is safe to play out the macro game where he knows he goes into the macro game with an advantage. And that's what he's doing right now. Zanster has been able to re-drone, he has been able to rebuild an army, but he's not going to have quite the bank he wants. He's not maxed out at the point where he usually should be, because he did take damage early, and he did fall behind in those earlier stages. And Hydras still sat down to the south, more Hydras up to the northern side from Zanster 2, setting up, seeing what they might be able to get done here in the near future. Again, 10 more Banelings currently morphing in from our Zerg player. Just morphing in those 10 Banes, and again, Ling Bane Hydra, the army composition right now of our Zerg. As well, Fear again, I mean, Storm is about to finish, plus 2 weapons on the way. I feel as though you should start looking to be aggressive. This little bit of a drop up here could be problematic, actually. Could be problematic. As we do have the units again getting ready to do you have the opportunity to do some damage? Let's see what happens then. I mean, I feel as though the Hydra drops, it's going to be really frustrating because he's also got to fight a very micro-intensive engagement at the front potentially at the same time. So Fear has to try and do something about this. I mean, what do you do against this many Hydras? Well, flying the Phoenix in towards the Overlord probably won't help to begin with. And Fear warps in a few more Zealots. Oh, I just don't think that's enough Zealots, although they were targeting the Hydras a pylon here momentarily. So that didn't really help Zanster out, I guess, too much. And these Hydras are going to continue doing a little bit more damage as well, and that's going to be seen. Still, the army is... I like this. Fear just keeping his army mostly at the front. He knows the possibility of Zanster running forwards. If he commits too much towards the back here to defend, I mean, that's obviously what Zanster wants to try and do, bait him out with that army, or bait him out of position with the army, I should say. And nice force fields initially, wants to block some of those Banes. Good for a Storm. Catches a good amount of Zerglings as well. Actually, good for initial engagement here, I would say, as Stalker's warping in. There's still Zealots over in the main. He warps in a few more as well. Would like to bring some of these in towards the main fight, though, I would say. You know, having like 12 Zealots in your main base is not really an ideal way to kind of continue the game. He's actually got, 9 plus 4, 13. Math. He's actually got 13 here in the main. They would just be really nice to have in the front. You see this Prism does not get the warp in. That's unfortunate. Fear just getting a little bit ahead of himself there. And just trying to warp in. And he wasn't quite able to. Hive, Spire, coming down as well here from Zanster, just in the back of the natural expansion. Continue to go into this late game scenario. Expected, obviously, with the fact that this is a situation right now where both players are, you know, setting up into towards this sort of later stage of the game. So again, Fear and Zanster setting up, getting ready to roll, and just going to be seeing the Hive is going to be finishing in a few moments. Very late game scenario, and that's why Fear is, of course, throwing down the Fleet Beacon, throwing down the second Stargate, getting set up for his own Tempest play, carrier play, whatever else he feels he might need. Zanster not really finding too much success with the, well, trying to run by anyway. I mean, it's a difficult map to try and run by. We see a couple more Hydras here still around, but will get cleaned out now. Fear just needs to bring, again, I feel, pull some of these gateway units into position. Again, right now they're not going to do too much more in the main base, so better to bring them position over here. There's, yeah, an Overlord getting poked away by the Stalker. Stalker pushing it up north. He's got this big attack to the right-hand side. He just had no vision over towards these rocks, and so unfortunately, he's going to be losing quite a lot. Zanster really finding some good engagements in the last couple of moments, as again, Zealot's trying to trade away with those Zerglings. Immortals and all the rest going to try and fight towards the Hydralisk as well, too, as he moves on forwards. And I don't know if he was meant to be moving commanded in there, but he did, and he sort of got away with it. And he loses the fourth base. This base might be picked off on the way out from these units. A lot of Ling Bane going to run forwards. A lot of high Templar for Storms, though. Those Storms are pretty deadly, and that's very quickly, once again, going to turn Zanster back. Fear still needs to find mining for a fourth base at some point, though, obviously. I mean, you just can't get away with no fourth base forever. Resources lost 10.7 to the 12.1, slightly favoring Fear, so it's actually an okay position for him overall in the game still. And again, both players hitting the late game compositions at the right time, so it's not like the Broodlords are just going to be able to catch sort of Fear off guard. It's not like the Tempests. Not going to be much of a surprise to Zanster either, so both of them should be pretty happy with this. And that's Fear. I feel the last thing he wants to do right now is really start pushing forwards. Just keep his base protected, you know, keep it safe. Get his probes mining over here, you know, get these workers over here, and get that mining kind of fixed all over again. You can see bottom right at the moment, the income for Zanster is just so much higher simply because Fear is oversaturated. And he does have a base to use, that's the thing. That's the kind of frustrating thing about this if you're a Fear fan. He has a base to utilize, he just has to put the units into the right position, you know? As we're going to be seeing the Hydras again pushed over to the right-hand side here. Lings, Zealots, Archons. It's going to be, again, for ooh, careful, don't run your own Templar into the Storm. That ain't pretty. Again, a few more Zerglings getting picked off as well, and Ultra's Cavern is on the way from Zanster. So Ultra Cavern coming on through here. Hydras from Zanster going to try and break through the back. And again, the continued pressure and just harassment around the map from Zanster, I think, has been really crucial to his success so far in this game, in the kind of engagements throughout. Because actually, I mean, the overall engagements haven't necessarily been going fantastically for kind of Zanster over here. It's just the harassment seems to have done so much, and the multiple location fights have been something that Fear sort of struggled with a bit. As now the Templar are dead and Fear's attack through the center has not worked out. GG. And that's going to be Zanster taking it yourself. You can donate to heal yourself after you take damage, if you're like damaged but not killed. But if you donate twice in a row, it doesn't do anything to add it up. Appreciate the donations though. Thank you very much. Chat's moving along quite quickly right now, so I can't really keep up with what you're saying. So let's go into game 2, and I'll just cast the games. You guys can talk about them. Seems like a good way to make things go. To the bottom right-hand side from Dead Pixels, our Blue Protoss player is Fear. He's going up against the Red Zerg to the upper left-hand side. Give it up for Zanster. Nurture isn't playing in this tournament, just to answer a question in the chat as well. Nurture isn't playing in this tournament because I'm pretty sure there's a big Polish event this weekend. So he wouldn't have been able to play all the days. It's the same reason Soul can't play. As well as a couple of... I think Eliza originally couldn't play as well either, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But I'm pretty sure there's another basically Polish event that's on. So I'm pretty sure that's what's up. Pretty sure that is what is happening. Gate and a Forge from Fear. Forge built in the back to try and hide this a bit, and well, Pylon on the way up to begin with. This isn't seen right by Zanster. Nope, he has no idea about it. So we're going to see the Pylon coming up. Cannons will come down, and well, obviously just Fear trying to put Zanster in a bit of an awkward position right from the get-go here. You imagined Rem ZGE would be easier than Rem Kocha? I guess I'm probably saying that wrong as well, but I don't know. Like, either way, I think I'm gonna murder the name, so I'm not too upset. Rem Kocha? Where are you from? Maybe I don't think that's actually gonna help me at all, but maybe it would a little bit. Thank you for the donation, though, dude. I apologize in advance. Maybe I'll just call you Rem. Is that cool? Does Rem work? Because that might be the simple way, unless you spell it out phonetically for me. Anyways, we're going to see this hatchery dropping down. This one over here was cancelled due to the fact that we saw the cannons coming up, and Zanster did see this as a drone came down the low ground. So we'll see if Fear wants to cannon rush this base as well. So far, it doesn't really seem to be that way. Rotron coming in so you can get the Ravagers up, so you can pick away at these cannons from a distance, clean them out, and move out onto the map himself. Pylon going to pull down into the... Sorry, Pylon. Sorry, I don't even know what I'm saying. Rotron about to finish. I'm just going to give up on whatever I was just talking about because I have no idea what I was attempting to tell you guys. I'm going to go back to the Rotron. Pretty much, again, the most efficient way nowadays just to clean up and attack at the cannons from a distance, Ravagers and Biles. Super efficient, super easy. Actually, this wasn't so bad in the end, I don't think, from Zanster, although we do see now Fear going to draw down double Pylon at this base over here to probably overcharge. He's got a Zealot here already, so it's a little bit all over the place. I mean, the cannons against just a couple of Ravagers will probably buy themselves enough time to get this attack really rolling. Another Adept coming across the map now too, which can probably shade into the main, try and pull units out of position as well. A very technical, macro-heavy game so far by Fear. Let's see if it pays off for him. Meanwhile, this hatchery over here is also building, which is going to obviously intend to be the third base. As you'll see, both of these Pylons just about to finish up. So Pylons finishing and overcharges will go down. Will he overcharge both? Just one? He's going to push the Overlord away initially. Don't know if that's... Oh, he actually, sorry, he only has the energy for one overcharge. I thought he had the double energy already. Still no Nexus from Fear, by the way, so it's very important that he slows down his opponent as much as possible. This overcharge, he's going to have one more overcharge in a second. He's going to kill the base anyways, actually. Doesn't need the overcharge, although he probably could have used it to kill a Ravager with how close they went to the Pylon there. Might not have been a bad idea. Would have been a nice little pick-off. Because I think one of the things that Fear might struggle with at the moment is the fact that he doesn't have very many units back at home. And so I feel as though, as this Adept does pick up 3 drones, by the way, we mentioned that that was a possibility and it did come in. But yeah, I feel as though Zanster... I feel as though Zanster is sort of in this position where... Oh, there's an Oracle? Oh, wow. Jesus, this game is brutal for Zanster. Like, Oracle flies in, will just suicide. I mean, suicide will take damage and just commit to kill drones in the main base. So again, Fear just really looking to do as much as he can right now. 27 works to 20. This Oracle didn't do as much as he could have done. A little bit of miss micro. What I was going to say, and I'm finally going to get to saying it, is that I feel as though the issue for Fear is that if he has an attack coming towards his front door right now, he doesn't have much of an answer. But actually with the Stargate, he kind of does. Double Oracle will be good against the Ravagers. He gets a Void Ray to deal with the Broachers. He actually does have a way to deal with this. So that's actually a bit better than I guess he originally thinks it should be or so. Anyways, we're going to be seeing the Ravagers and Roaches just going to come back to the high ground. They're not going to attack in the end. Yeah, this was good from Fear. I mean, in the end, he gets into a solid position. Yes, his Nexus is a bit late, but look at the income lead nonetheless. Very, very solid stuff. Going into more gates, he's got the 2 oracles which can fly through, and I mean, even two oracles together can actually do a lot of damage quickly, which means they can probably fly in and grab 1 drone, get out of there, if not anything else. And we're going to go for Ravagers. Well, can keep the Pulsar Beam activated, is he? Yes, he is. It's more expensive to activate the Pulsar Beam twice than to cancel it and then put it back on, basically, in this scenario. Unfortunately, he doesn't quite find that drone that's about to come down to the low ground to take the hatchery, which would have been a nice pickup as well. More depths coming across. And I guess the one thing he's going to try and abuse here is that he's going to try and abuse the fact that the Roaches and Ravagers are mostly being kept towards this base. There's actually now Zanster splitting them up nicely to deal with something such as these Adepts coming across the map. So this is really nice. This is actually really, really nice for Fear at this point because... And from Zanster, because I like Fear's idea. But Zanster's sort of looking at Fear's potential to do this and just thinking ahead. So it's a really good example of just how well these two players can kind of... play, I guess, or just kind of what sort of level they're at. He's just going to suicide the Depths, of course, for some drone kills, 4 more workers. Again, at this point for Fear, he feels safe enough against the counter that he can give up a few more army units just to slow down that economy of the Zerg even further. The 9-worker lead currently in favor of Fear over Zanster at the moment. Zanster can make a lot of drones at once, but again, it's just throughout the game, Fear mining so much more, and resources lost is a little bit Zerg favor, but not by too much. And so it is just, again, slowly pushing Fear into an advantage. Now, Fear was ahead in game number 1. After that initial kind of Adept-based attack on 3 bases. So Fear was ahead back in game 1. We'll see if he's able to take this lead in game 2 and develop it into something a little bit stronger as a follow-up. As again, 2 Oracles just finding another couple of drones. There's a 3rd drone kill as well. It's all adding up. Do we dare look at how many drones have died throughout the game? 14. And that's pretty nice, actually. Killing off some lava on the low ground as well. Spore will relocate to the natural expansion. Queen's pushing the Oracles back once more. Again, though, Fear doing all the right things to keep himself in this lead. His 3rd Nexus is finished up. He can start saturating this pretty much immediately, even. I mean, he is going to start saturating it. He's in a position to, so 3rd base is looking good. And still a worker lead. Income lead still in his side. He just has to make sure he gets the right composition and takes the right fights. And honestly, Zanster's not really set up into the best of compositions himself. Going for the missile upgrade, he's going to go into Hydras, but there's no Lings. You know, there's no Ling speed, there's no Bane speed or Baneling Nest. So it's just going to be kind of Roach Hydra rather than the Ling Bane Hydra. I feel as though Roach Hydra is just a little bit less effective nowadays. It feels a little bit more easy to fight against as the Protoss. So we'll see if that's true. We'll see if that is going to be the situation in the next few minutes. And you do see the 2 Oracles are, again, just position themselves. Going to drop a Stasis Ward. Try and catch Zanster off guard, but Zanster sees it. Nice Stasis. Whoa, he can Stasis eggs? No, that's so sick. Did anyone know you could do that? You could Stasis Ward an egg that's morphing, and it actually slows down the production? Whoa, that's kind of sick, man. How long is the Stasis Ward for? 21 seconds? That's pretty cool, man. That's actually kind of like, I just had no idea about that. I had no clue. Never Stasis Ward over here again, looking for a similar idea. Very well responded to once more by Zanster, though. Pulling his drones away, getting them back to mining nice and quickly. Not wasting any time at all with that one. Lurgaden's on the way up, so Zanster, when we talked about kind of Roach Hydra, I guess I failed to mention that the very popular follow-up to that, of course, is going to be some faster Lurkers. And that is something he's going to be able to set up for himself. So Lurkers will be on the way. I feel as though the Lurkers are something which will make or break Zanster in this game, because I feel Fear does have a good composition against it. I feel as though he should be able to engage into kind of Lurkers. But let's see if he's got what it takes to take the correct fights in this situation again. Fear is someone who's does struggle with nerves sometimes, and in tournaments when he's being casted, he is very vocal about the fact that he does struggle with making incorrect decisions and just kind of not playing up to the kind of quality that he should be able to play to. As you see, these Roaches going to try and push up the spam. Nice force field. Roaches going to take a few shots, but in the end do just have to pull away. Is the skull in the bottom right? Resources lost? Yes, it is. I believe the 5th. Bottom right is mineral income, gas income per minute. Resources lost throughout the entire game, and of course APM when we're not selecting anything. It's something which people want to see more often. So many people are just... Sorry, I got something in my eye. Ah! Yeah, but oh my god. God damn it, what's going on with my eye? It's something I don't do enough. Press escape so that people can see the bottom right. Oh my god, sorry. We good? Eye saved? I think my eye is saved. Let me put my glasses back on. I can sort of maybe talk about what's happening. Lurkers actually take position to the right side of the map, to the right side of this third base. A couple of overcharges will be used to try and help defend. Revelation, that's going to be the key sign for this army to move forwards. The Immortals will chunk their way through those Lurkers very quickly, and this is very easily going the way of Fear. Meanwhile, though, he takes a fight at the front. Does he have detection over here? No observer, right? So he has to back away from the Lurkers. He still trades quite nicely. I think he trades well enough to justify taking the fight. He does just need, though, the detection. He does have an observer here. Sorry, it's very hard to see the observer in blue above a very kind of white-blue background and Archons underneath it as well, so... Again, looking to see how this is gonna go, as we just see Fear still pushing out, and I feel as though so far good defense, but now these Immortals are sat to the right side of the map, and they're not taking part in the next fight, which means that sort of Zanster's kind of taking advantage of that in a way, so he's still benefiting from the previous attack over in this direction. We're going to see more Roaches and Hydras, a lot of them this time, moving over to the right. This is something which Fear, I think, will have to kind of pull back and deal with via the overcharges and the Immortals. Oh my god, there's Oracle, 2 health, stays alive. Overcharges will have to come down here. I'm surprised he didn't pull the Immortals back already, because he did see this pretty quickly, as we do see more units coming in. Actually, Fear's got plenty to push this away. Good defense once again. Our Protoss player not letting anything break through this as well just yet. Again, you can see Zealots and Immortals just sort of pushing up through the center. I feel you guys discussing whether the stasis ward and eggs really matters. In most situations, and in that situation, probably not. But if you're going for an attack and you can stasis ward the eggs to stop reinforcements coming through at that moment, it could be pretty vital. It could be pretty cool, so... It's a very situational sort of thing. I mean, again, in most scenarios, it wouldn't make a difference, I don't think, but, you know, there's going to be those couple of times where actually it delays the production by 20 seconds, and suddenly that's the difference between winning and losing the kind of fight or something. Anyways, some Zerglings going down here, and Oracles were just lost. I would love to see him just replace those, because they're so vital. Having the ability to just throw down a Revelation rather than relying on other bits and pieces, you know, rather than relying on the observers would be much nicer. The observer's still around, man. I really can't see this observer. Okay, it's all the way to the right side. Actually, you'll see the attack coming in towards the high ground here. And let's see if Fear can deal with this multi-pronged aggression. Is High Templar taking a couple of shots initially. Immortals firing away. Meanwhile, up top, he is slowly pushing this back as well, quite successfully. He needs the detection, man. He just needs to see these Lurkers, and I think he can fight into it. Warping of Zealots. He's going to go. He's going to go. Oh, no, he's going to pull down to low ground. He's going to join up together once again. Well, Storm comes down. Here we go. Now he's going to go for it. High Templar still hitting those storms. Now out of energy / having been killed. Templar have to pull back a little bit with the rest. Still a lot of units on the high ground. The problem for Fear is that he's taking okay-ish fight. It's just Zanster is pulling too much of Fear's army into the wrong location at the wrong time every time for Fear. Nice Zealots in the natural already going to deny this run by running forwards again in towards the Lurkers. Reinforcements from the high ground. Zealots are trying to charge into nothing because the Immortals are blocking them. Hydras are going to cancel them off into these Lurkers though, and that is a great, great engagement. That is what Fear's needed for a while here, and finally he gets it. He finds the fight which is able to push his opponent away. So that's pretty sweet, as we're going to be seeing again. Just another carrier, just finishing up here, as we do see a little bit of a Zealot harassment from the Prism. Fear just trying to keep active on the map at this point of time. Again, plenty of units from Fear positioned out towards the fourth base. Still Zanster looking to hit these run-bys, attack from multiple directions. And Fear just being tested in his multitasking, his army splitting skills as well still at this sort of point in time. I feel as though he's dealing with it well. I mean, again, there's been moments where it's like, woo, or maybe he left a bit too much behind here or there, but for the most part, he's kind of doing okay. High Templar join up together. Nexus will be thrown down just out the front, and again, carriers with some interceptors working away and picking off a whole bunch of those Zerglings. So that's pretty nice as well. It's quite beautiful, actually. Still some lurkers, well, a lurker and a bunch of Hydras from Zanster still waiting for an opportunity. Zanster finally getting to the chance, getting to the stage of the game where he's able to actually go into Corruptors and a Greater Spire, looking for the Broodlords. He has been just on this Roach Ravager Hydra lurker tech for the majority of the game. Before a game which started out in such a wacky way with that kind of cannon rush into so much more, this has turned into quite an interesting back and forth. Zealots though going to find the Greater Spire. That's a pretty huge deal. If this Greater Spire was to die, that would be absolutely huge right now. As Zerglings are coming in to respond, there's no further transfusers. That is a big loss. Spire has to rebuild initially, and that's just Hive Tech denied for such a huge portion of time now. I mean, it really is true. Spire is just going to take so long to come back up, and then to morph into a Greater Spire again. Beautiful. Beautiful play by Fear again. Just picks off the perfect target, finds the perfect structure to kill. I mean, the thing is as well, is like Zanster, it was like he didn't even get the Greater Spire up for a few seconds, so he couldn't start to morph an initial wave of Broodlords. He literally just has no Broodlords for the foreseeable future. Still going to see some carrier shots going off over here. High Templar's going to be chased away. Lurker will burrow, and Hydra's still just working their way against this. And again, Zealots will charge on forwards, and Marines will find a way to sneak in over here. Meanwhile, this attack to the right side. A couple of High Templar don't have storms yet. They do just now. Was not there initially. As, again, the harassment around the map is what's keeping Zanster in this game more than anything else. And it's true once again now, as Slingers and Hydras will eventually be dealt with, but it just distracts Fear, and it gives Zanster the chance to maybe position over towards this direction too. Templar in position, ready to deal with that though. Templar on their own out the front. Templar, no. Yes. Pulling away. That was scary. If all those Templar got picked off, that could have been game-changing, because the Storms are still a huge key part of the army of Fear now. And still pushing forward. Zealots, Immortals, and High Templar looking to see what else they can do. So this army comes all the way over to the left-hand side. Hydra's still picking off another pylon or so, and still just working away through a couple of buildings here and there. Pushing on forwards and looking to see what else he might be able to get done. Lurkers get some good shots initially. Nice couple of warding storms away from those Corruptors. Keeping those Corruptors away. I spoke quite badly there. But Greater Spy on the way up, halfway done. If Fear is going to take a fight, now would be the perfect time to do so, because it's at this stage just before the Hive Tech kicks in. Here he goes. Zerglings are going to come in to fight the Zealots. Good storms. Corruptors as well getting hit by those. A lot of carriers. Now this might just be unkillable for Zanster, unfortunately. Let's see, because the Lurkers are dropping very quickly. 13 more Corruptors in production. There's no way. There's just no way. I mean, the Corruptors are nice. I guess he's going to try and get Bruised. He can't get Bruised. He doesn't have the money. Hydra's on the way up as well, but Fear takes a great fight here. Zanster's bank is exhausted trying to fight against this. Zealots get warped in at home to deal with the Zerglings that are running by. Fear is again still dealing with this pretty decently, well enough at least. Takes down another hatchery up top. Still has a good army on the map. As now we see still storms available, which will be a big part of getting rid of those Corruptors. He has carriers to slowly pick away at Brutes as well. Obviously Tempest would be maybe better, but for now it's going to be okay. We're just going to push on in again. That hatchery is going to get taken down, and going to be a recall away, but uh-oh, that's not good. He just left his High Templar and his carriers behind. Can Zanster take an advantage of that? I don't think he can. I don't think he's got the units in the right place, / maybe he just didn't recognize it. Oh, that is Fear. He's just flipped a coin. Well, he didn't really flip a coin, I guess, but he's just accidentally flipped a coin. It's accidentally just landed on its side to get him out of that. Like, I feel as though the majority of times Zanster would see that and just leap on that opportunity to kind of take advantage. That is a true nightmare, which he's woken up from just in time. Wow, these are like the worst fucking anecdotes I've ever made in my life. Anyways, Greater Spire coming up. And, I mean, again, you gotta give credit where credit is due. Fear throughout this game has been doing a good job denying a lot of the income of Zanster now. Resources loss is heavily Fear favored, which is why Zanster needs to be so far ahead on that income tab to just have a chance in the game. But now that Fear is slowly, slowing this down, it's looking better and better for him. But Broodlords are up, and so it's going to be more important than ever that Fear has a strong enough Sky army to keep on fighting. Again, the units from Fear here continue to come up to the top side, and again, it's nice because what he's done is he's slowly transitioned into the Sky Toss playstyle. you know, he's added on 1 or 2 carriers at a time. He hasn't just gone for a mass transition, so it's been slow and steady. And now at the point where he really needs Sky Toss, which is the carriers, it's going to enable him to be able to really kind of have enough perfectly timed. So it's been a nice kind of play from Fear. I mean, at this point, if he was still just on Robotech, the Archon Tech, and so on, the ground army, these Broodlords would be untouchable, more or less, and that would be very problematic, of course. Look at this, pushing very far forward. The Fungal Grove comes down. Storms will begin to drop. High Templar looking to see what they can find. Carriers are fighting the Storms on the Corruptors are huge. No Archons, though, and that might be problematic. If the Carriers going to be enough here? Oh, I mean, a couple of Archons are morphing in. Currently, Broodlords are just reigning supreme in the skies. Fear has screwed this engagement up completely. I hate to use such strong language, but it really is the only way to emphasize how badly this went. Fear, what has happened? No, he lost the fight. He's just completely lost the fight. Kills the Mothership Core as well to stop the retreat. Oh. Wow. Zanster. I mean, he was on his last legs. He barely has a mining base. He has nothing in the bank. And Fear loses absolutely everything in this engagement up to the top side. He didn't need this fight. He really doesn't. I mean, it was nice to try and take the bases, but he just got way too over-eager. And the better response would have been to just slowly keep denying bases while building up. Maybe a bit more Sky Toss was what he needed. Maybe a few more Voids. You know, maybe this was the time to ramp up the Sky Toss production a bit. He just didn't have enough that shot up. He couldn't deal with the Corruptors. And that led to some major issues. As now, Zanster from behind is going to be able to keep pushing forwards, and we might get that TBZ decider match between Keller, Zer, and Zanster to wrap up this group, because Zanster is marching forwards and he has a fury in his step. He's not happy about being bullied around for the majority of this game, but he found a good fight when he needed one. Look at the resources loss, it's just jumped from being like 8,000 resources more efficient. Suddenly the Protoss player is less efficient than the Zerg. That's how bad that fight was for him. So bad. And now, I mean, Fear's losing his only mining. Now Zanster's the one who's got new bases coming up. I mean, Zealot harassing across the map is nice, and he's killed a lot of drones just here, but how do you ever fight this amount of Broodlords with only Stalkers? You can't. The Broodlings just keep coming out too quickly. There's no way for him to really make this happen. I mean, Fear's got a little bit of money left. He doesn't even have Blink yet. That's what he's waiting for. His desperation Blink effort to blink on top of the Broods and to kill them off. But even then, the ground army from Zanster is growing once again. 10 more Hydras on the way. And Fear is really not mining anything. In fact, no minerals, no gas income. Here he goes. He's going to try and push in here and take what he can. A few feedbacks being used to take down the Queens. The Broodlords are going to go hunting, though. Templar turn to take a fight. They have to be careful. Broodlord's going to drop down. It's a dead High Templar. He uses its Storm, but obviously is not in the best of positions. He's just going to be seeing the Hydras continue to be picked away at the Corruptors. The Broodlords continue to push in forwards here. And again, just Fungal Growth hits the Stalkers. That's GG. Well played. Good luck, Anton. Zanster takes game 2, and Fear is unfortunately going to lose this.